At this point, we should have done our chart, and we should have done graph number 1. I have mine right here on my desktop, and they've been saved here, but I asked you guys to save yours either to the Documents folder, which is your first name followed by the first letter of your last name, or email it to yourself. So you should have it somewhere where this is backed up, and you should have printed those off with your name on them and put them in your folder already, okay? So now I'm going to go back to the classroom website. Again, uscience.wix.com/about. Okay, and then we click on the environmental link, and here we are. The recycling assignment, you can go ahead and pull this out of your folder if you need to, or you can just download it to take a look at it. And let's see what our next part of our assignment is. So we've done our chart, we've done our graph number 1, now we're going to do graph number 2, which says create a bar graph showing the total amount recycled throughout the school year for each material. So we want to see the total amount of plastic, the total amount of paper, and the total amount of aluminum that we have recycled this year. And we want to see this in a bar graph, okay? So I will close out of here. All right, and I will go and I will open up my Excel file, which I've titled Mr. Yena Ganoush Recycling. So when I pull it up, I should see my chart here with my name at the top. And I have my graph number 1 down here, okay? Now I need to make graph number 2. So this time we said we're doing all the materials, aluminum, paper, and plastic, versus the total amount that we have recycled, right? And this is for this school year so far. So last time we did dates versus the amount recycled for aluminum, paper, and plastic, which was this field right here, right? We included the dates that we highlighted, and we included aluminum, paper, and plastic, the materials, and we included the amount, the pounds recycled along the way. Now this time we're using different information, so we don't want to select that same information. This time we're going to use aluminum, paper, and plastic, the materials. Right, so I'm going to highlight those just by clicking on aluminum and dragging down to plastic and letting go of it. The date we're not concerned about because this is a total for this school year, right? So the other part that we are concerned about, aside from the materials, is the totals. We've recycled 103.5 pounds of aluminum, 1,254.5 pounds of paper, and 243 pounds of plastic, right? So we want to include that on the graph. How do we include that in our graph? Now, I want to make sure that this is still selected here on the side, aluminum, paper, and plastic. Then I'm going to push, there's a few buttons we can do. Let's try command. I'm going to push the command button, which is right next to the space bar. I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to select these 3 numbers, 103.5, 1254.5, and 243.5. Now I can see that this is all selected, and this is all selected. And now this is all I have to select when I go up to charts. I'm going to make a bar graph here. The bar graphs are all horizontal. I would prefer what they call on here as a column, okay, which is just going straight up. It's a bar graph going straight up. And there's a lot of different kinds that you can choose from on here. There's 3 different sets of these. I would suggest not doing these funny cone-shaped ones. Okay, so cones, cylinders are okay. You can try those. I'll let you choose from any of these though. Just make sure that it shows the information accurately. For example, when I click on this one, the clustered column, it shows me aluminum, paper, and plastic, which is great. Some of them may not. You can just click around on these different ones. Like this one, I don't know why, but it doesn't show us the information. It shows all the same plastic, paper, and aluminum. Oh, it's in percentages, that's why. So we don't want to do that one, okay? But you can do some of these over here, which this kind of makes it a 3D look, and that's kind of neat if you want to do it that way, okay? Again, make sure that it shows an accurate depiction of how much is being recycled, because this one, it shows them all being the same. So I'm just going to go with the normal standard bar graph, which is seen right here, okay? Now, last time when we made it, we dragged it down to its own page. I'm going to do that again. Just going to click on it and pull it down, pull it down. It's not always easy to make these things move, but just keep moving it down. It'll go. And I'll give it its own page down here. Okay. And here's where I'll drop it. I'm going to stretch it out, make sure it's nice and big. Good. Now again, to format this and add information and make it our own, we want to click on the toolbox at the top. So I'm going to click on Toolbox, and this formatting palette will pop up. Now I want to give this a title. Okay, the chart title, we're looking at the amount of pounds or the weight being recycled for each material throughout the school year. So I might say amount, I'm going to capitalize, of each material. No, I'll change it. Nenana Public School recycled materials 2012-2013. Okay, that is probably a good thing to add on there, the date or the years that it's encompassing. We probably should have added that to the first graph, which I know we didn't, but that's okay. So we'll keep it Nenana Public School Recycled Materials 2012-2013. Don't name it that, okay? That's what I'm naming it. Name it something that tells us everything we need to know in the title, but don't name it the same thing as what I'm naming it, because that would be plagiarism. Okay, so that's the chart title. The horizontal axis, that's across the bottom here, the x-axis. We can just put recycled materials. Okay, because plastic, paper, and aluminum, those are the recycled materials that we use. And then we'll label the vertical axis. This is our vertical axis. What is this that we're looking at? Well, it's numbers, and this is the exact amount of pounds being recycled. So let's just put weight of recycled materials, pounds, right? Being sure to keep my capitals. Weight, capitalize, recycled, capitalize, and materials, capitalize. And there I see it pop up on the side. Now my major and minor grid lines I also want to include. You don't really have to, but in this case I like to do it just because it makes it easier to read, I think. Okay, so I can put those in. I can change my font around if I would like. Calibri, no, I'm not gonna do that. For the last one I think I did Bank Gothic, so I'll do it again just to make it match a little bit better. My legend, I don't really need it. All it's telling me is series 1. It's not giving me any information. It's not telling me dates, or it's not telling me materials, so I can go ahead and get rid of that. So I just select it and push the delete button, and it's gone. My chart data, let's see, chart style, I can change up these colors if I want. Again, guys, this is gonna print off in black tones, okay? So grays, and it just depends on the light or darkness of this. So maybe if I want it to have good color, I'm gonna make it kind of a lighter color, like this green. It might print off pretty light, and then I can take a marker and color over it. If I want it red, I can make it red, or if I want it blue, I can use a blue marker and make it blue. You can use a black background. Okay, make this how you want to, since this is your graph. Okay. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and save my Excel file. It should still be at that same location. I'm saving mine to my desktop because this is my computer, and I can do that, and I can easily get it, and no one else is using my computer. But for you, please put it in your documents folder over here to the right, or email it to yourself. In either case, make sure it's somewhere safe where it's not going to be lost and you don't have to redo the whole thing again, okay? So I've saved it. Now I asked you guys before to go ahead and click on your graph. If I push the control key on my keyboard, I'm gonna hold that down, and in this area over here where it's not selecting, like here it selects this graph area, or there it selects that data, I'm going to choose this open space, hold the control key, click on my keyboard, and I'll go to save as a picture. It's going to take this graph and save it as a picture. I don't want it to be a PNG, I want it a JPEG, okay? I'm going to save it as graph number 2, and not to the pictures file. I'll put mine on my desktop, or you could also select your documents folder. It'll have your name followed by the first letter of your last name. I'm sure you guys are probably tired of hearing that. I've said it a million times, but hopefully it's driving that point home. Okay, then I'll save it. Make sure you print it off, and you should write your name in pencil on the back side of it, then turn it in to your classroom folder, okay? Let me go ahead and check and see. Here's my graph number 2. Great, there it is. Nice and pretty and professional. Everything's labeled: aluminum, paper, and plastic. Recycled materials at the bottom. Weight of recycled materials in pound to the side. Indiana Public School Recycled Materials 2012-2013. I'm good to go, okay? Good luck. Watch the video, slow it down, and pause it at any time if you need help.